the same time. And I don't know, you know, I don't know what your ideas or feeling is on that.
Do you have dual monitors?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what she means.
right.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm assuming she didn't mean that you should have Certmaster and Ucertify up at the same time. It's not going to do much for you.
Right.
But yeah, if you have dual monitors, I mean, obviously, I started using dual monitors when I started working for LearnKey, and
Mm.
I could never go back to that screen now. I feel weird when I'm on a laptop and there's only one screen. I'm like, man, where's all the room? It's like going from a like a 3 bedroom or something down to a one. Like all your space is gone, and
Yeah.
you're all condensed now. Um, so yeah, if you have an extra monitor, you definitely want to extend your desktop, just
Well,
just for the sake of having more room.
well, I do have a big monitor, um, and I guess yeah, I can hook it up and just do dual screens because I do it on this other thing I have. I do dual screens on that. Um, but yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
But there's no benefit to having them both up at the same time, is it? For those.
not you certify in Certmaster because and I'm going to show you right now actually.
Okay.
So you certify is a it's like a hands-on tool. You have modules and like labs to do,
Hmm.
and Certmaster is more just a testing engine. It is a teaching tool. I mean, it doesn't just throw questions at you. If you get them wrong, it recycles them and it gives you feedback as to why you got one wrong or something along those lines. Uh,
Right.
Let me go back just to give you an idea of what it looks like,
Okay.
and then I'll also show you the benefit of the dual monitor.
Okay.
Bear with me just a second.
Sure.
Okay, looks like you let me in. Okay, so this is Certmaster when it comes to A plus. All right, and basically what it is this is a testing engine, and it's going to test your knowledge on each individual objective or sub-objective. So you can see here, this is 1.1, right? When I
Right.
break this down, it has all of them here, right? 1 through 5, and it actually has a practice test at the bottom, which is it's going to mimic the actual exam. Okay, so it's going to give you
Okay.
90 minutes to complete, and it's basically just going to give you a practice exam. Okay, but what this does is it's going to test you on each specific topic. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, right? You can break it down into sub-objective, which is
Hmm.
awesome because you can just focus on one sub-objective at a time. That's the best way to approach this stuff because it's just too much information.
Right.
And so the benefit of this is, or actually of the dual monitor, give me a second. Somebody has some, I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that.
Star Wars fan.
Okay. All right. So let me extend my screens real quick just to give you guys an idea. So I'm gonna show all of them. There we go. So you guys just see 3 screens now. I actually have 3. And the benefit of this is, let's say that I'm using the training. So I'm going to bring up the objectives. Uh, Give me a second. I gotta remember where they are. So let's say I have the objectives and I'll put them on this screen. All right. At the same time, where did it go? All right, so over here I have my objectives. I know it may be a little hard to see if it's showing all three of my screens, so I'll zoom it in a little bit. But so, I have this over here, and I know what 1.1 is. So this is what's being covered, right? And then when I'm ready to test myself on this stuff, now I can come over here. I know it's going to be covered under 1.1,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I can put the training over here, whatever training you're using. So, if you want to put the course notes or whatever, maybe you can put the course notes over here.
Okay.
So you have 1.1. I'm not even sure what this is. I think this is Net Plus. So yeah, these are wrong ones anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, these are the Net Plus ones. So sorry about that. I know I'm off a little bit. A plus, A plus. I know I brought A plus up. I just probably have too many screens. All right, so too many windows actually. So let's say I put the course notes over here.
Okay.
And then in the middle here, I have nope. 1.1. All right, here's all the 1.1 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the benefit. I think this is what she's saying. Use the screen to kind of make things easier for you. Right. This is what's being covered. Right. Here's the info over here. The same information. When you feel like you have it, here's the test. Right. And you just kind of keep it organized like that. When you're done with 1.1, then you move down to 1.2 over here.
Okay.
Right. Move down to 1.2 over here. Right. Same thing over here. Move down to 1.2. Right. Keep everything organized like that, and break it down into subsections. And then that way, you're just kind of learning the stuff in increments instead of trying to learn it all as a whole. It's just a lot easier this way. And this makes it easier to kind of keep everything in perspective. So, maybe you have the course notes out, but you're watching the training at the same time. You're getting an explanation of this stuff, right? It's one thing to have the notes. It's another thing to kind of get the explanation behind it and understand, what's going on with this stuff. So the whole point is just, use this stuff in tandem with each other to keep you, it makes it more organized this way when you're just kind of learning in little parts, right?
So the one on the far,
1.3.
the one on the far right of your screen, what is that you have up there?
Those are Professor Mercer's course notes.
Oh, and you got that from his?
Yeah, from his website, from ProfessorMercer.com. You can get his course notes there. Pretty awesome. His training is there too. So all the notes come directly from his training. Yeah,
I use some of his training sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, his training is good. I like to use it in tandem with Jason's training, because that way I have two perspectives. I have Jason's perspective on the material, then I have his perspective, and then make sure everything kind of lines up the way it's supposed to.
Right. Okay.
So that's where the benefit comes in there. But okay, so that is certified. I'll just come through here just to give you an idea of the type of questions that they ask here. Let's refresh this one. This is a pretty good tool. I'm going to come back to just this screen now. Just wanted to show you benefit of multiple screens. Yeah. Okay. So what this is going to do is basically it's a testing engine. It's going to throw questions at you, right? I don't know if you can see these little dots up here, but this represents the questions. If you answer them right the first time, it goes green. If you don't, it goes red and then it gets recycled. So what you want is all green across the top, okay? But the good thing about this is it is a teaching tool, so it's not really kind of holding you to get all this stuff right the first time. It has an explanation for each of these questions. If you get it wrong, they'll recycle it and they'll throw it at you again. But before they do give it to you again, they're going to tell you why you got it wrong and all that stuff, right? So basically, this gives you an opportunity. You can see here, if you click it once, it gives you half a circle, right? Just saying that, right? So it's basically saying that it gives you two options here. If you're sure, then you click the one that you picked twice, and if it's right, then it'll be green. If it's wrong, then it'll be red. You get this little X right here, right? And then you get this little red mark here, and then that means that it's going to recycle it. But before you see it again, it's going to explain to you, why it was wrong. So let me see if I can get to it. See if I can get to it real quick and just show you what it looks like. I'm picking random questions. I'm not really doing it.
Hey, Tristan.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from somebody. It sounds like someone's eating popcorn or something. Or some chips.
Oh.
That might have been me.
That.
My mic was unmuted and I'm eating salad, so I apologize.
Oh. All right.
Not popcorn, salad. Okay.
It's a new salad.
Okay. So what happens is if you pick one, if you're not sure, then you're going to pick two. Let's say maybe you think it's between this one and this one. Okay. So if you pick both of them and they both turn yellow, that means that one of them is right, one of them is wrong. If both of them are red, then both of them are wrong. Okay. So it does give you leeway, right? It's not like an actual test. It is a teaching tool. And then that are half right and half wrong, it's kind of it's a shaded green. And then the ones that you absolutely get right will be solid green. Let me see. Your help desk technician responding to it. This laptop's optical drive is no longer working. User indicates that the drive is only used to exchange large files with another user who has poor network service. Which of these would be the most cost-effective and convenient solution to this help desk ticket? Okay, so the drive is not working anymore, and it's only used to exchange large files with another user who has poor network service. So you probably just place the optical drive with an internal hard drive. Order an internal optical drive replacement. Offer the user an external optical drive. Offer the user an external hard drive. What would you guys say?
Offer the user an external hard drive.
Yeah, that's what I would say too, right? So the thing you want to look for each of these questions is always look for the keyword in here. And here they don't really bold it or they don't all caps it like they do on the actual exam. But in this instance, it would probably be most cost effective. On the exam, it would probably like highlight this some way. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. What's the most cost effective way? You don't even use the driver set to exchange files, right? And he has poor network service, so it's probably better to have an external drive. That's what I would do anyway. So let's see this. Yep. Question. So you get this picture, right? And then when you get this check, then you can see this is kind of solid green. So this is what it looks like when you definitely get it right. And then this is what it looks like if you guess and one of them is right, and then this is what it looks like if it's definitely wrong, right? And then once you get to this point where we got, I don't know, about a fourth of the way through here, you'll get to this little thing and it says, "Congratulations, you just performed right. You just completed your first question." Okay, so now let's go learn. So when you get to this point, now it's going to take you back to all these questions that you didn't get right, including these ones. And it's going to leave this one out. Okay, so come to learn, and then you'll see it's going to tell you which one you picked, and it's going to tell you which one is correct. And then when you scroll down here, it's going to give you an explanation. So sometimes it's kind of a quick explanation like this. Sometimes it's a long, drawn-out one, and it explains it in depth, in detail. Okay, but the main thing is when you get something wrong, you need to know why, right? Is it because you guessed, or is it because you just had no clue, or did you think it was really the answer and it wasn't, right? You need to know why you got it wrong and then figure out, how to get it right the next time, right? And then it recycles it. Same thing here, right? So this is a really good teaching tool, and the thing that I really like about it is it covers each. Let me come back. Get over here real quick. Each objective gets covered. It leaves nothing. There's nothing that gets left, right? There's one. It goes all the way through 1.1 all the way through 1.7. If you want to double check that, you have the. Oh no, I took it off. Let me bring it over here real quick. The way to double check that, right, is to scroll through here and make sure that everything is being covered. And that's why I always say, keep the objectives with you. Use them. Get, I don't want to say memorize them, but know them well. Going into any training that you're using, for one, so you can make sure that whatever is being discussed in the training is relevant to what you need to know, right?
So
Otherwise, if you don't know what's supposed to be covered, you could just be listening to a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah and not even know it.
So where did you get those objectives from? Is it in the book or somewhere else?
The objectives are everywhere. The easiest way to find them is just to go to Pearson or Support. Just go to YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, Google, and just type in objectives. Or if you sign up for the forum, they're in there. Just go to scroll down to the A+ section here, and then scroll down a bit because it's been a while, but you'll see objectives somewhere here.
Okay.
And then they're both in here, 1001 and 1002. No problem. Okay, so that is Certmaster. Any questions on it?
Certmaster. Certmaster, I see. I haven't went over to it. I did Certmaster. I haven't been on CompTIA yet. But I see this is a pretty hands-on thing, and the Ucertify is good. I see for the labs. So how can I incorporate these in my daily, getting prepared for the big exam? It's an hour and a half. How many questions?
The exam will have up to 90, but I've never got 90. I've taken probably about 10 CompTIA exams by now, and I've never got 90 questions, but I've always got somewhere close to it. So like 86. My last exam, I think I got like 75. So you can see here, it's a maximum of 90. You won't get more than that. And if you don't get an accommodation, then you're going to get 90 minutes. If you do get an accommodation, I think it's double. So you'll probably get 3 hours.
Okay, I should be. And who do I need to request the extended time through?
You're going to have to do that through CompTIA.
Whoever your coordinator is, whoever your coordinator is will send that to you, because I just asked Susan yesterday, so she sent me the form.
You mean VA coordinator or your LearnKey coordinator?
LearnKey.
Okay, both. I need to talk to both then.
Yeah. Send them an email or call them, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the link. Or you could just go to really, they're just middlemen, because it's not even up to them. So you could actually, if you want to, you could go directly to the source. Just go to CompTIA and go to this. I don't think it's a certification page. Let me show you.
Okay.
Where am I? Here.
Continuing it.
Yeah, it's here somewhere. Just found it last time. Testing. Test policies. Candidate testing policies. It's going to be under here. And it's going to be accommodations during an exam. So yeah, right here somewhere. There's a link. And let me know if you see it.
See, that's why I asked my counselor. I let them go for now. You're doing good. I didn't know where to go, so.
Yeah, well, you always go to, it starts at CompTIA, and you just got to navigate your way to it. I guess it's easier to just type it in here. Let the system do the searching for you, right?
Okay.
Testing accommodations. Yeah, there you go. Yep, that'll do it.
Okay.
So, but this doesn't have the link. Yeah, just ask both. If he has the link.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Well, I'll let my VA counselor do what he do.
Okay, so basically, with the accommodations, what they'll do is, if you need more time, I think they double the time. In some instances, they'll give you a room by yourself because most of the time you're in a room with a bunch of other people. So they may put you, maybe they have a room on the side for people with accommodations or something like that. Those are the type of things that you can get to help.
Okay.
And it all helps. Okay, so let's take a look at Ucertify real quick. The other side of the coin that we were talking about.
Those labs seem to be pretty good on that. Ever since we talked, I've been on it. I kind of got stuck on it because I was liking it. So, and I was
nice.
like, okay. They should have had that for the initial training because it's really hands on, and I think me myself, my learning style, I can learn better like that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more of a hands-on learner myself.
Yeah, and that's right on that Ucertify.
Yeah, the main benefit is, so my labs are a little outdated because I didn't use Ucertify when I was preparing for the 1000 series exams.
Yes.
So, but it's the same concept. So I'll just give you an idea of what he means. So you have all these little activities here.
Yes.
And there's a few different ones. This one is a matching one, and they have little icons. The icons kind of give you an idea of what each of them are. So this is just matching. This is this is order choice. I'm sorry. File size, like understanding file sizes. Click to select, drag and drop. Bit, make a bit.
Right, that's what I'm having a problem with my drag and drop on the lab.
Does it work for you, or does it not work?
Some of them seem to work, and then some of them wasn't. But I just went on skip over it because I know I'm putting it in the right area, and it's I don't know, it just ain't dropping in for me. On some of them, I don't know.
It's a matter of how you line it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had that problem too, but I mastered it. It just takes a minute. You just gotta line it up,
and it's my first time.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it won't take, and then I had to keep going back and back. Then I'm like, I noticed the right answer. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking back at the lab. It's telling me. So I just got to keep working at it. That was hour one of just learning it, or getting on it rather.
Right.
Sure, I'll play with it the next 3 weeks. I should be all right.
Right. So this is basically what it looks like, and it gives you a platform where you can basically, like you said, it gives you a platform to kind of do some hands-on stuff and apply the stuff that you're learning, right, in the training, which I think everybody needs to do. And it doesn't require you to go out and buy equipment. If you do have the actual equipment, there's no substitute for that. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. When I went through the program, I actually had a computer that I wasn't using, so I used that as my guinea pig. So I didn't need a tool like this. But if you don't have that, then this tool is definitely going to come in handy, because at the very least you can simulate this stuff, right? Like, you know where the power connector should go. It should go there, and then you know the IDE connectors and the processor, right? So you just kind of simulate doing this, and then you can see, like, when you're doing the little drags, a lot of times it'll highlight, and then you'll know that you can drop it there, right? If it doesn't highlight right, then it'll just snap back. But
Tristan,
get it in the right place. Should click. Yeah, go ahead.
FYI for everybody, through your VA counselor, and I got one. I got a refurbished desktop. They started out with a laptop so I can practice on. So if you ask your VA counselor to say, I'd like to have one, there's a lot of things they don't tell you.
Yeah.
You ask for it and they'll give it to you. They'll send it to you. I already got mine. I had mine for over a week now, but it's a refurbished desktop. Yeah. I went in there because y'all like to have.
They sent us the books. Everything. Well, I mean, what the book gonna do that we haven't already been going through the domains, and then we got this here.
Well, it's just stuff to help you be successful. But yeah, I mean, I do go back to my book, especially when I'm going to those tests.
Well, I just got mine, so you know that's why I'm asking. I just got it in the mail.
Well, yeah. So I had to call my counselor and tell them to please send me my. I was on vacation. They sent me the book, but no, you're entitled to get that. You have to. I sent my counselor an email, but I discussed that with her before the program started, and she said, "Well," and he said, "Send me an email." I said, "May I please have a refurbished desktop so I can work on it, because I'm kind of like a desktop guy.
Right.
I work on laptops, but I like desktop for all kind of reasons. So I got it sitting right over here to my left.
Oh, I'm sure that's a plus.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, you're entitled to it, but you got to ask for things after this. You got to start asking for things, and they'll send it to you.
No doubt.
All right.
All right. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Yeah. So, those refurbished PCs, it was an add-on. What we're doing now is, I think we're in the process of making it mandatory, or it's going to be included. So it's going to be something that you don't have to ask for anymore. It's going to be just sent with you. We're in the process of doing that now.
Yeah, that should be a part of your package.
Yeah, it should be, but right now it's not. But we're trying to change that. So, because I think everyone should have that platform to be able to do that. You should be able to practice on a PC. If you're expected to actually fix them, right? You want to have some practice doing it.
Right.
So,
now, I don't know if I was reading wrong last night on that. I think it was CompTIA, and they were saying you should at least have 9 to 10 months of experience or something before you take the test.
Well, they're recommending that.
Okay, I try to read. I was like, well, it's only week 4 for me. So I'm like, hey, I'm digging in.
Just don't give up. Yeah. Just keep pushing.
No, I got to keep banging, As long as I got what I need to complete the task, and that's been kind of the issues. Some technical things have happened, along the way, and, just got to keep banging, though.
Jerry, let me say something. I'm not trying to take over the class. What I've learned as a veteran.
Yes.
The people that work with us at the VA and other places, they're not going to tell you everything.
Oh, yeah,
so
I know that.
We as veterans have to speak to each other and share with each other.
Yes, I agree.
And that's why I said what I said, because, and it's not the employee's fault, but they're told not to tell us certain things.
Oh, yeah, believe me, I know.
I'm just sharing. Don't worry, you're in a good family pool here right now, so I'm going to shut up and let Tristan do his class. So.
Okay, appreciate it, brother.
No worries. So I just want to show you a couple other things with Ucertify, because you want to know what to expect from it. So
Yes, go
This is
for
something I was showing Jerry earlier. So if you come across one of these that you don't know how to do, you're trying to figure it out and you just can't, you don't know where to put it, or you don't know where it goes or whatever, or it's not working the way you think it should be working. What you want to do is you want to come over here to this task, this little task dialog box over here, okay? And you can scroll down, and basically it walks you through what you're supposed to be doing. But when you get to the bottom, you have a little tutorial. It says click here to watch the tutorial, okay? So if for some reason you can't figure out how to do it, you can come here, click on the watch the tutorial. It'll take you to YouTube, I think. The tutorial will start. And then it's going to walk you through how to do it. Turn this down. And you can see it walks you through it, right? Now, I will give you a disclaimer. The person that's talking, he has a strong accent. So you may not pick up on everything that he's saying, okay? But the main thing is just to be able to watch and mimic what they're doing, okay? So this is a universal language right here, right? Stuff that comes out of our mouth is noise unless you're talking to someone that understands your language. But this stuff here, that's the universal language. Doesn't matter what language you speak. If you can do that, then you're good. All right. You have a bunch of options down here to skip through the tasks because there's a bunch of them. The last thing that I do need to make sure that you're aware of is when you get this, they're going to give you 901, or I'm sorry, they're going to give you 1001 and 1002 labs. Okay, they're not going to specify. For some reason, they don't do that. Which one of these are relevant to which exam. So you have to know the objectives. All right. If this ever closes, I'll show you. It happens sometimes. It'll be a little slow because it's being hosted by them wherever they are. But for the most part, these modules, they work the way they're supposed to. You may come across a few that don't do what they're supposed to do, but just keep going through them. So you can see there's a few different kinds here. This one, I guess it's just labeling. Just they give you images and then you have to label them. Make sure you put the right labels on them. Right. So you just have to be able to identify what this stuff is. All right.
That's what they need for their whole program. I don't know if they take in consideration. We got different learning styles,
Well, that's why you have all these different resources. You have a book.
True. That's why I said this just came up though. The Ucertify and the CompTIA. It's better than the domain thing to me. So far,
Right.
I went through it. There's a couple, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is more hands-on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to find one that works best for you, and then those are the ones that you kind of want to stick with. But
See, like this here, I don't want to go back to the domain because this is more of my learning style. I don't know about anybody else, but this is more of my learning style, is hands-on.
But Jerry, you have to finish those domains before they release you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna handle my business. That ain't the problem. There ain't no issue. Okay. I'm gonna handle the business. That's what it's all about. But for us comprehending what I'm learning, I'm more hands-on. That's just me.
And also, They're not going to give you the codes to sign in and get access to it until you complete the first 4 domains. But I did all 5.
Yeah, I did also.
Okay, there you go. I'll shut up now.
Oh, ain't no problem. I handle my business. That ain't never an issue with me.
Yeah, guys, there's different phases to the program. Online Expert is the first phase. You have to be able to get through that before. Right. If you can't get through that, then none of this stuff will matter. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I want to try to get through this first phase.
Right. So You know, it's kind of it's a necessary thing. It's progressive. You have to show that you can get through the first part before you can go through the rigorous stuff. So
Oh,
once
no
you
doubt. I
do,
just want to move forward until I can get some type of comprehension of what I'm doing. And like I said,
right.
it's like week 4, but I'm still, I still got stuff I need to work on, memory wise and all that. I ain't no youngster no more, so I got to bow down.
Okay. All right. So the thing that I was trying to point out is
Yes.
that these labs are kind of mixed up, right? When it comes with the 1001 and the 1002. So what you want to do is you want to look for the point to where the 1001 stuff stops. Okay. Another way you can do that is just use the objective. So if I come, I don't know where these objectives are. I got too many windows up. They're around here somewhere.
Just find the objective. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just bring them up again. Okay, so if I scroll all the way down here, all the way down to the bottom of the objectives, right? This is the last section here. Client side virtualization. Oh no, yeah, I knew something was wrong, right? It's troubleshooting is the last section. So 5.7, all right. So we're talking about troubleshooting wired and wireless network problems. Given the scenario, troubleshooting printers. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for on Ucertify. All right, all this stuff up here is hardware based, right? Assembling computer components, using the UPS, right? Identifying memory modules, identifying RAM. All this stuff is 1001 stuff. Okay, then when you get down here, installing optical drive, the still 1001 stuff. Changing color of desktop, changing the system screensaver. This is more software-based stuff. So I'm thinking right around here is where the 1002 stuff is starting, right? Changing the color of the desktop, changing the system screensaver, connecting the keyboard, mouse. So this is still hardware-based. Connecting the monitor and headset. This is still hardware-based. Stopping and restarting printer spooler, right? So printers, right? Remember we were looking at printers. So
you gotta go through it then, because I think we talked about stopping at 81, but I see it's more stuff beyond that that's on the first, thing.
No, some of it is relevant. This stuff is relevant. It's just you're using, when you see the little Windows icon, it's a virtual machine.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be software based at some point. But so look, printer. 11.1 is where you start to go into the operating system stuff, right?
Yes.
10.1, it says into a printer. And don't forget, Jerry, mine is different than yours. Right? Remember on yours it was like 8.1.1 or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said 8.1.
Yeah, but I have the 900 one, so mine and yours are going to be a little bit different.
Gotcha.
Okay. So right here, where you see 11.1, where you see this operating system, identifying symptoms, problems with the operating system, configuring email, setting up a VPN. This is all 1002 stuff. Turning the personal hotspot. Right now, you're going into this is all 1002 stuff. Okay. So once you get to on yours, what did we say it was, Jerry? Like 8.1, I believe.
8.1, yes.
Okay. So for those of you that have Ucertify now, it should say 1001 and 1002 up there. Okay. When you get to about 8.1, I believe it was, that's when we started seeing the operating system stuff. So that's where you're gonna. All right. Because you can see here, as I keep going down, this is all 1002 stuff. This is the stuff that you're going to be getting tested on. So this is where you want to leave these alone. You don't want to start learning stuff that you're not getting tested on that yet. And then when you go back, after you knocked out the 1001 and you come back to the 1002, then that's where you want to start where you left off. All right. Other than that, that's pretty much what you can expect from Ucertify. It is a pretty decent tool. What I really like about it is the operating systems.
Yeah.
So when you get to the 10.2, you're going to be responsible for 4 operating systems: Windows 7, actually more. Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, and you're going to have to know a little Linux too. So you're not going to have to know Linux like the back of your hand. You're just going to need to know the commands, the common commands, and what they do. But the Windows operating systems you're going to have to know. So it's good that you have these operating systems here because you don't have to install the virtual machine, even though you should. If you haven't, at least do it once. But you don't have to. Like the virtual machines are here. So I got Windows 7 right here, and it lets me do. It's a limited version. It's only going to let you do certain things, but for the most part, you can navigate through here and get a feel for what Windows 7 is going to look like, the control panel features and things like that. This is the stuff that you need to know. So it helps for you to be able to access the operating system, right? And so that's what I really like about this. You have Windows 7 here, and then you have Windows 8, and then you should have Linux as well. I saw some versions of Linux on for the 10.1 labs. I don't have them here because I have the whole, but you guys do. So, all right. Any other questions on Ucertify? And then someone asks how to use these on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yes.
And my answer to that is it's really about. So you have to use the objectives to determine, where you are and where you need to go. So.
So I don't overstudy. You know what I mean? So I just focus on the stuff that's gonna be on test, and we don't know how much is gonna be on RAM, how much is gonna be on this, how much is gonna be on that. Correct?
Yeah, you have no clue. So.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, what I do is I just go through the objectives and I pick out what I know and what I don't know. If I know it, I mark it off, I scratch it, I put a line to it, whatever. And if I need to go back to it, then I leave it blank until I feel like I know it well enough to scratch it off my list, and I leave it blank. Even if if I go through some training and I feel like someone explained it, but they didn't explain it well enough, then I'm still leaving it blank until I feel like I got it. And so you're constantly keeping a, what do you call it? So the first one you do, it's called a baseline, right? It's like your baseline knowledge. What do I know? What don't I know? And then as you go through your training, let's say 1.1, there's some stuff here I need to figure out. So I'm going to come through here. I'm going to pick some training. I'm going to watch Jason's training. If that doesn't do it, I'm going to watch Professor Messer's training. If that doesn't do it, I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to find somebody that explains it the way I need to hear it. And then, once I get it, then I mark it off my list and I say, okay, I got it. And then I test myself. Now I go to Certmaster and I say, let me take a test on 1.1 and see where I'm at. Let's see if I know what I think I know, right? Look for the ones that you get wrong. And then it's just kind of like, you just attack each area. You just attack it until you got it. And then you move to the next one. And then you attack it till you got it. Test yourself on it. Make sure you got it and then move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, go to 3. Is that the Rams? I know I got to work on that. That domain 3 was my hardest, and I know I need work in that.
Hardware?
Yeah, on the RAM, that third one that had the 160 questions and all that.
3.3.
Yeah, on the DDR3, and how to come up with the numbers you need for certain. Yeah, I got to work on that. That's just me,
Yeah, that's just a repetition thing.
Right, exactly.
There's no way I can explain it where you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I just wanted to go through it while you were in the objective thing, because I know that's going to be one of my main focuses is that. Some of it I do know, some of it I don't.
Okay.
Like my plans and all that jazz and the motherboard, double channel motherboards, I know what parity is, error. It's just stuff I need to work on for myself.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too hung up on numbers and things because the exam is going to be more. It's not going to be they're going to say, okay, we're going to give you this round. What's the what's the rate? What's
Okay.
the it's going to be more scenario based.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
you have a laptop. Which one of these RAMs are you going to put in the laptop?
There you go.
That type of thing. You know what I mean? Versus, and then the other thing is, RAM is a real small section. You're not going to see a lot on it. I'm not saying don't study the stuff. If you have an itch to know something, then make sure that you definitely scratch it and you learn it. But also keep in mind, see right here where it says 3.3, they're just asking you, given a scenario, install the RAM types. They're not saying to to mathematically break down which one of these, is operating at 12. Which one of these is operating at another. The numbers and the specifics aren't really in play in this question. It's more about given a certain scenario, like the one I just gave, right? Let's say you have a laptop. Which one of these RAM types are you going to use? You know what I mean? So it's more about the characteristics of this stuff and how yeah, SODIMM, right? In that instance, you would use SODIMM. So yeah, that's kind of what you want to key in on.
And I got to quit second guessing myself and just go on and go with my first boom. Quit second guessing. I know most of it, and I just got to keep banging.
Right, and also use the objectives to give you an idea of what you're going to see, because this tells you what you need to know about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at the underneath. Yeah, I'm peeping at that. That's real. That's why I said this is beneficial. This should be on the main thing.
Hello? Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah, we got rid of it. I don't know how you guys sit through this with all that stuff in the background and get anything from it.
Oh, trust me, it gets annoying quick.
Sorry about that, guys. I was in the middle of a fire drill, so that's why you heard all that noise.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the CompTIA, the test that we're taking, or the practice test that you take. When you see those results at the end of those, and I came in late, so forgive me if somebody already addressed this or stated it, where it tells you if you're ready or not for the test, pay attention to that, because I scored exactly what the test told me that I was ready for or not ready for. So I scored almost exactly the percentage that those practice tests told me. So definitely use that as your gauge as far as your knowledge and what you're doing. So.
Which one? Which practice test?
All of it. I've taken under the CompTIA. I'm sorry. I think it's Certmaster that we're doing.
You go to one of those practice tests
on Certmaster.
Oh, Certmaster.
Got you. Yeah,
I agree with that. When I took Security Plus 201, CompTIA is going to pretty much be, in my opinion, the closest to the actual test that you're going to take. All that stuff is scenario based, and and the wording is pretty much going to be similar as well when you get in and actually take the CompTIA test.
Okay.
Yep, agreed.
When I see the present of the exam, 10% that, 10%. Okay.
Yeah. I must agree. I did really like Certmaster in my preparation for. So I just took my exams a couple months ago, and that was really my first time using Certmaster to prepare, because we weren't using it when I was a student. And it did. I saw a lot of stuff there. It wasn't even necessarily the wording. Sometimes it was, but it was just how they presented the question, and just the areas that it touched on. It really prepared me for stuff that I'm glad that I saw it there, because it made me pay attention to it. And then when I saw it on the exam, I was like, all right, good. I didn't just, put my focus there for no reason. I did see a lot of stuff. And the reason for it is because it's just, like I say, Certmaster goes through all of the sections, and there's little that it leaves out. So it just kind of makes sure that you touch every area. It kind of goes through each objective and makes sure that it asks you a question about just about every area. And it is I do like it. It's a good teaching tool. So that's good advice. You definitely want to take advice from people that recently took the exam. Okay. Any other questions? I know we've been talking about some of the resources lately, or for most of the session. Any specific areas?
I'll chime in again since everybody's being quiet. The one thing that really kind of threw me for a loop, and just to touch on what Tristan has said before, the performance-based questions definitely kind of threw me, because I wasn't at all expecting what the scenario was, and I had no idea how to even start to answer those performance-based questions. So that was really like a shock and a surprise to me. Again, luckily there was only 2 questions in there, so I kind of went through and kind of answered it to the best of my knowledge. And again, you get partial credit for those, so don't just look at them and quit. Actually read through them and answer them, to the best of your ability. But those 2 questions that were in there definitely threw me for a loop. I wasn't prepared for that at all, and there was nothing in the training or subject materials that would prepare me for those questions that were asked. So.
Were there any questions that had double answers?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of those.
Yeah, okay.
I think I had about 6.
Like, some of the testing we had on the domains, because I'm on my question, I know there's double answers there.
Yeah, but again, like Tristan always says, those double answers, you really just got to read the question, and actually when you look at them and start answering them, they really make sense. But you really got to read what the question is and what they're asking you to answer.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't make it easy. They make it so that you have to, if you understand the concepts, then. Yes. Easy. And I remember Professor Messer saying that. I was in one of his sessions like a couple years ago, and he was like, "The stuff is not really hard; it's really easy." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's easy for you to say."
That's what I said.
It's not easy, but what he's really saying is, if you understand the stuff, if you know the concept, it's easy to pick out. Because there's always something in the question that it either highlights one or it eliminates the others. You just have to be able to find it, but it's not always easy to find. But what he's saying is, if you speak the language and you understand the concepts, then it is easy. And I mean, I can see that now. But
easy for
back
you.
Then, yeah, right. now I'm on the other side of the coin. But
exactly.
But I mean, I get it now. I get what he's saying. It's not easy for newcomers, right? If you don't speak the language, it's not easy. It's just, okay, it's ping and it's trace route, and it's TCP and it's UDP, and it's telnet and it's secure. So you have all these utilities that are similar, but there's certain things that separate them. And once you understand those, then it becomes easy. When you understand it without having to think back to the training, when you've done it and you're used to it, then it becomes easy. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things that over time stuff becomes easier, where you don't have to really think about it. Now you know. And then when you get to that point, then he's right. It does become easy. When you still have to think about it and try to remember stuff that Jason said in a lecture or something that Professor Messer had in his notes, right, that's different. But when you've done this stuff over and over again and you've gotten used to it, then it does become easy. It's just kind of, okay, I know this one because this one's secure, this one isn't, right? This one's connection oriented, this one isn't, right? This one does this, this one just finds the, this one finds the device, right? This one shows you the path to the device. And once you've done all that stuff, then it's easy. It's a lot easier to spot the answers. So
Just enjoying the challenge,
yeah, I mean, it's a process. It's a journey. So, okay. What else? I guess we're out of time, huh? Is there any other questions?
Christian?
Yeah, go ahead.
On that certified master practice and performing A+ exam, then showed first part with each domain. How can I get into it?
How can you say that again? You were cutting up a little bit. I couldn't understand everything.
On that first CompTIA certified master practice exam for the A+ core, one that you showed in the beginning, with each domain you had a different, you had a practice test in each domain.
Right. So if you're talking about not Ucertify, Certmaster.
I'm talking.
I think you said CompTIA.
Yeah, the CompTIA one, the one that you had different domains.
Right. Yeah, you don't gain access to that until you get through Online Expert. So did you get through Online Expert yet?
No, I'm trying to get through. I'm taking the test Thursday for the 1001 test.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to get more knowledge, see if I can answer the questions of each domain without having to go through the.
Do you already have your voucher?
I finished. That's what I was talking about. That thing where.
Yeah, that's Certmaster, bud.
Okay.
But the one with.
This is CompTIA, ain't it?
Oh, yeah, it's CompTIA, but it's the 1001. That's Network Plus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's a different.
I mean, I have
subject.
too. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that one.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, you gain access to this once you get through Online Expert, and then they could have sent an email that gave you a code or access code to gain access to this. This is also how you get your voucher. So if you scheduled your exam already, you should already have access to Certmaster. Have you not used this yet?
I haven't used that. And the only thing I've used was on the Ucertified thing. I've done all the modules like crazy, and I find other places I'm trying to find so I can say, okay, I want to practice, just do each module and see if I can pass each domain.
Who's your Learn Key?
Susan.
Okay. So you're gonna want to contact Susan and find out if she sent you the your login info for, or at least your access code. I don't even think you don't need login info. You create your own account. But you need to contact her and ask her if she sent you a code for Certmaster.
Okay.
If she hasn't, then that's on her, and she needs to do that if you're going to be taking the exam, because you're going to need at least. I mean, you're going to need a while to get through all of these. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the exam in a couple of days, I would
just hit the ones that I'm having problems, like the hardware and domain 3 and domain 5 are the two ones that I'm having the hard time.
Hey, Steve, what's your problem about the hardware?
It's just on the questions I kind of mess up, so I'm just.
Are you talking about like the connectors? Are you talking about motherboards? Are you talking?
Probably the motherboard. Let's see. It wasn't.
Well, the only thing you're gonna have there's two differences. One is the socket for AMD or Intel processor.
Yeah.
All right, now there's only one way to figure that out. AMD processors, they come with the pins on the processor. Okay. Intel, the pins are in it. It's a flat piece on the processor, and it locks in. It has two locking mechanisms. AMD only has one locking mechanism on their board. The other thing you have to know is it an AM4? Is it an AM3? Is it AM3 plus? Is it AM4 plus? Is it what's the socket sets for Intel? I forgot, Tristan. Basically, what I'm trying to say, Steve, is I build my own computers, so it's easy for me to rattle off stuff for you to hopefully understand. But the thing is, they're not going to ask you socket sets or anything. They're mainly going to ask you the size of the motherboard. Is it a micro? Is it a micro? Is it a ATX? Is it an ATX? Is it ITX? There's only 6.
Or which one's a low performance?
No,
low CPU or something like that.
No, it'd probably be low voltage.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's your MITX. That's your micro boards.
Yeah, that's right.
So another thing they're probably going to ask is DDR3, DDR4. Just remember the DDR4, it goes from 1760 megahertz to 3200 megahertz. That's all they're going to basically say. You got to know the SSDs. What's the best things about them? What's the pros and cons about SSDs, HDDs, and SHDDs?
And what's the difference, especially?
And what's the difference? And why is this one better than the other one? So, I mean, I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but they're not going to be asking you socket types or anything like that.
Yeah.
They just wanted to know the size.
Once before, and I didn't pass it, so that's why I'm just trying to study the areas that I didn't have problems on the test with. And
yeah. Anyway, Tristan, I got to go.
Okay. There's a couple people that didn't put their last names in. I need to get those. If you guys want credit.
Did you get me?
I need Cody's last name. I got Daniel Archer, Daniel McDonald, Jonathan, JB, I'm sorry, Jerry, Jose, I need your last name, Larry, Leonard, Patrick, Sean. This one I'm not sure is Sapili. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but I need your last name. Stephen Barfield, Steve Elmond, and Tony. And I got Larry, yeah. Say that one more time.
Did you get McCullough?
McCullough, no.